what's up? This is kind of just for me to look back at later on when I want to look back at what I did through the fruitful years of my early 30s, and I can say, hey, I played a lot of video games, and I recorded videos of me doing it. So that's what this content is for, but if anyone jumps in here and watches it somehow, welcome. But we're in year 5 of this dynasty that I'm in with about 8 other people right over here. Let's see how many people we got now. Oh my god. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got about 11 people now. But we're in year 5 of a dynasty. I just played in the national championship and lost 16-6 to Notre Dame, who's kind of the Alabama of this dynasty. They are a wagon, so it's a tough loss, but won a few playoff games, pieced them together. But we're looking to make another big run this season. So let's go through my roster, and then I'll go through my schedule, and I'll wrap it up there. Let's go through the roster here. We lost quite a bit on offense. We lost a couple talented players. We lost a quarterback, and we lost our burner wide receiver, Jaquan Smith. Quarterback is Isaiah Carter. He was pretty accurate, but he was mostly pretty fast, so I was able to kind of run through rushing lanes if I needed to. I was able to escape from pressure when I needed to, so definitely miss him, and I definitely just have a big drop-off at quarterback. But going through the roster, and we'll just go by position, I think we're going to have somewhat of a starting quarterback battle here, because I really don't know who to go through or go with. For honestly, the first 3 guys. This guy, Clayton Yancey, Marcellus Tate, Steve Burr. I'm kind of leaning going with Marcellus Tate just because he has some of these attributes that I think will help the off-platform mobile resistance extender. I think it's big if I'm able to just, if I'm able to extend plays and possibly get some explosives off of that. Let's just look through their ratings real fast. I mean, throw power, pretty accurate, or pretty similar. I think Yancey has slightly better accuracy. A lot better at throwing under pressure. So I'm just going to play the first 3 games and see how they go. Probably each 3 of these quarterbacks will play a little bit because this guy Burr is a burner. So let's see how bad the accuracy is. But I definitely want to give him a shot. So we'll see the first 3 games go, and we'll go from there. Running back, we've got an interesting room. I love Alvin Isaac. He is also a burner. He's not going to break a ton of tackles, but he has breakaway speed. So if he gets a lane, he's a threat to take it to the house. He is great out of the backfield. Definitely reels in a lot of catches for me, and I use him out of the backfield quite a bit on flat routes, Texas routes, wheel routes. Sometimes I'll send him in motion, get him up the seam. So what I like to do on offense, he fits really well at that running back position. I need someone that can be out of the backfield and run routes really well and secure catches. So I really like him. But after that, we've kind of got a little gap, a little bit of a talent gap. So next year we may have to hit the portal, kind of plug those holes. But CJ Reese, Jamie Briscoe, Damian Funchess, he just stayed on my board. No one went after him, so he's just kind of here. He's not very good. But yeah, we definitely are going to have an issue when we get back down to RB2, so that'll be interesting. Fullback, I got this guy Antonio Townsend, who we'll see how he develops, but typically in these games, and I've gone away from the fullback a little bit. Typically in these games, I like having a little chess piece at fullback that is a good lead blocker, and I can use him in I formation if I really want to, but I can also use as a wing back in shotgun. He can lead block, but can also run wheel routes, flat routes on those play actions. Not only is he a good blocker, but he's also kind of shifty out of the backfield, and I can kind of use him and sneak him out, get him in pass patterns. I really like having like a little chess piece of fullback, so I always like to have one on the roster. So I'm hoping he kind of develops into something pretty good. Wide receiver, we are a little not as great as last year. Again, we lost Jaquan Smith, and we lost like a number 3 or 4 receiver as well. But this guy, Delonte Minor, I went back and watched like some of my games from last season that I recorded, and honestly, I realized I missed him quite a bit. He is much more of a burner than I give him credit for, and he can get past the defense. So I'll definitely be looking his way a bit. Brandon Witten, I feel like I used him a lot on crossing patterns over the middle. He definitely is. He's someone that's going to be really good too. I think after that we have a bit of a talent drop off. Kaiser didn't play much last year, but I'll go a lot of 3-4 wide receiver sets. So you'll see Joshua Porter, James Linder quite a bit, and then after that we've got quite a few young guys down here that we're hoping can develop as well, and then just some depth guys at the end. Tight end, I think I'm going to use Jonathan Eccles a little more just because, near the end of last season, I went from, being in more of like a pro style, heavy personnel attack to being something where I'm in a lot of 11 personnel or even 10 personnel where I've got 4 receivers on the field. I gravitated much more. I gravitated away from sets with fullbacks or sets with 2 tight ends in favor of just 1 tight end sets where we're looking to throw the ball down the field a little bit. And Jonathan Eccles just has better receiver ratings than this guy Tim Mavia, who's a great blocker, but I think he does not quite stretch the field as well as this guy. So I think they'll split time, but I imagine Jonathan Eccles I'll play a little more. The O-line, I'll speed through them. This guy's a new starter, I believe. Parker Armah, I actually got him in the portal like 2 years ago when I had a really weak class because I was out of town a lot. But I got Dalvin Cook too. That's just kind of funny. But I got Armah in the portal, and he's been great. He's got a great rating, 88 as a sophomore. So I'm excited for him to develop. Right guard, I believe this is a returning starter, pass protector, so that's what I want. And then I moved this guy, Jalen Blade, who's actually a center. I moved him to right tackle. He's better there, and he's got this outside shield physical, and he's a better pass protector than the right tackle I had before. So pretty excited about him. The defense, we'll get to the defense now. So the offense, I lost a few starters, but on defense, I think we really only lost one. We lost 1 cornerback, and I think we're pretty loaded on defense, and it's a senior-laden unit. So, I'm hoping this year we can cash in those chips, but I am really excited about the defense. It's the best I've had in this game so far, and it really starts with these defensive ends. Daniel Sinexum, I don't really know how to pronounce that, but really fast off the edge. He's got that quick jump. So, when I get teams in passing situations, that's kind of the archetype that I look for in defensive ends. I really want speed rushers. Hopefully they have quick jump, but I want someone that when I get them in obvious passing situations, they're going to make you rush your reads, or they're going to make you step up in the pocket and deliver a good ball. You're not really going to outrun this guy to the edge, and if you are just kind of fading back in the pocket, they're just going to meet you back there for a 10-yard loss. I really like him. Same thing with Ashton Mosley. I mean, they're basically clones, and you can kind of see it trying to fill the roster with these types of guys going forward with Eric Spangler and Tyrone Bullen. Just speed rushers, guys that can get around the edge and really fill that role. Let's see, at left end, I want to see something real fast. So, again, I think this class we're going for some guys with quick jump because it really is a perk I like, or a physical that I like, whatever you want to call it. So we got our rush ends. And then up the middle, I kind of like to zig the other way where I like to recruit these kind of big. You kind of see this guy here, 6'2", 328. and he's a run stopper. That's his archetype. And this guy, I feel like him and this guy Alex Hurt as well, and Chinelson Exum, they're really good at plugging up on the run. So I go kind of vary between 3 and 4 down linemen, but I'm typically in 4. And I'll have Ryder, and then I'll have a rotation of Hurt and Exum and Money, but I'm going to redshirt him for this year. We have a rotation of Bulls 3 to 4 every game, and I feel like they really plug their gaps real well, and I don't have to commit like too many resources to the run with them clogging the middle. So I really go for run stopping defensive tackles that have really good block shedding, really good strength, and I think it's just like it's a really good. I don't know. It's an archetype that I've really liked so far, just because it lets me do so much more on the back end, and it also, I feel like makes the running game for my opponents and makes it more inefficient. I'm able to get them in more obvious passing situations where I can really sit back, rush the passer, and maybe try to lurk some routes and get some picks or some turnovers, because that's really where I feel like you win the game. Linebacker, again, speed. It's a senior-laden unit. You got Rodney Hill, really good in pass coverage last year. He's someone that I like to lurk with. This Hugh Benson is a new starter, but excited about him. Again, he's got speed. And we have Jared Sisk, another new starter. Again, we're not really losing much here, but I'm pretty excited about him. Again, speed at that position. I really like linebackers that have speed, so they're able to lurk over the middle, kind of run with those crossing routes. It's nothing worse than having a linebacker that's starting that's like 70 speed or something like that. They just feel like a cow back there. But again, I think at these positions, we're a little thin after the starters. We're hoping some guys can develop, but, again, we lost a recruiting class, so that really hurt us in terms of depth. So we're going to try to plug some holes in the portal again. Corner probably the weakest position on the defense, but we've still got, some guys here. Kendall Malone, I know Akeem Toney had a few picks last year. I imagine they'll be the starters. I'll probably move Khalid Peck back because I'm not the fastest guy. At least we won't want to really man him up much. But corner, we're pretty young. We have some guys back here that I'm excited for the next few years. But this is probably our worst position. I still think it's not terrible, but no one, it's not a unit that I'm really comfortable with, like locking down man-to-man, leaving guys on islands, which is, really what I would like to try to do. I've always been more of a zone guy, but I've played some players that run a lot of man, and they've got really good corners, and it's just they lock things down so well. The safety position, Oscar Wiley, this is a new starter. Again, we've got speed here. And again, zone focus, he's got house call, knockout, so excited about him roaming the back. And I've really liked this guy right here, Damon Marable. He got a few picks for me last year. Picked him up in the portal during that lost class where I had to really fill gaps. And he's been really great on the back end. Really good in terms of just playing like my zone defense, like mainly cover 3 scheme. And then, when I ask him to come up to the line of scrimmage and maybe play the flats and kind of blow up bulls, swing passes, screen passes, he's really capable of that too. So I've liked him a lot. Kicker, Nico Grammatica, he's kind of nails. Punter, funny name, honestly. So that's the roster. I mean, I think, this year, I don't know. I think the defense is better. We're just returning a lot, and guys just got better. So that's exciting. The offense, I think it's just going to kind of go with how our QB is, like how accurate our quarterbacks are, how mobile they can be. I think receiver, we lost our best receiver, but I also think the talent down the roster is just as fine. I don't think we're losing much there. Running back depth worries me a little bit, but it's going to go with the quarterbacks. I mean, are these guys going to be capable of replicating the success I had with Isaiah Carter? That's going to be the big thing. I think, a natty will be tough this year, but I think we can reel off another deep playoff run. But ultimately, I just feel like we lack some of the top end talent to get over the hump compared to some of these other schools, especially the ones we're competing against. So we'll look at the schedule real fast and then I'll wrap it up. But what I like is early on, I mean, we get some pretty easy games. UConn, Buffalo at home, Air Force, Southern Miss, an FCS school. So, like, I have a lot of time to kind of game out, like, what I want to do at quarterback and what I want to be on offense. And then we get into kind of the meat of the schedule. We get Penn State, and then we get Colorado as a user. You know, we beat them in the playoff last year, and that was a game where it seemed like we were going to put it on ice in the third quarter, and he made a really good play to come back in the game, and it was very back and forth. So he's a good coach out there in Boulder. I think on offense, he runs the ball well, and he's also got a few passing schemes that can kind of just keep you off balance. He's pretty capable in the pocket, so if he can play a clean game, he can beat anyone, I think. Ohio State on the road is going to be just a giant pain. I'm not going to be able to call any audibles. Not looking forward to that one. I'm sure they're super talented, too. That could be a loss on Heisman, to be quite honest with you. Michigan State, I don't know how they are. I played them last year, and I think I killed them, but we'll see. They're ranked 17, but that could change. Notre Dame, if this is kind of the Bama of this dynasty, if, we played them last year in the regular season and lost 63-0, and then we played them in the Natty, and we hung around but couldn't quite make that play to give us a shot to win the game. He always just had a counterpunch when we, possibly had a chance to get in the game and make something of it. It was really impressive. It's always, it's always a chess match with this guy, but the positive spin on that is this is trending towards me winning based off the last two games, from getting blown out to it being kind of close. So glass half full, I don't know. I played at Michigan last year. That was actually a pain, and that was closer than it should have been. Again, another, playing on the road, another just pain in the ass game where you can't really make audibles, and they are playing the run so well. So on Heisman, this is going to be interesting. Again, there could be one or two CPU losses in here. I'm not that great against computer at times, honestly. And then we finished with Liberty. We played them in the playoffs, but the Liberty coach was, he couldn't quite coach the game. He was like Hugh Freeze in the booth when he was sick that one time. He was on remote play. He's got a really good quarterback. He's got a powerful running back, too. He runs a pretty horizontal offense, and he's going to try to run rock on you. And if you can't stop it, it's probably a miserable time. So, the plan against him is just really contain that quarterback, keep him in the pocket, and try to cut off those short passes. If you can do that, you can be pretty successful. But that's going to be a fun season ender, and then get to the conference championship, and that. I'll actually go back and look at that real fast. We split off into two divisions here, Paterno and Trestle, but we are in the Paterno division, and the Trestle division, we've got Alabama. I played them in the playoffs last year, won that quarterfinal. Got Miami, Texas A&M, Washington. I've actually never played Miami, Texas A&M, and Washington, so that'd be interesting. But I think this division could be pretty interesting. I know all these teams are pretty talented. Yeah, they're all pretty stacked, actually. So I think there could be a lot of parity here, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the lowdown going into year 5, hoping, really hoping for another playoff berth and to make another deep run and kind of see how the chips fall from there. But I will be trying to upload videos of the gameplay and just my commentary on that as well as we get into this. But yeah, this is fun. I'll see you later.